Long ago, the kingdom of Aliment came to realize.
Your wish?
Nimue fled to the northern lands.
Yes? Yes, my lord!
Nimue fled to the northern lands. You can follow her through the mystical gates that only open from the towers of the She. They are rare though, and even the closest one is north of Hadrian's Wall. It was a long, arduous journey through the Pict lands, but you are close. You follow the river north up a gentle slope. As you try to find a good place to cross the river, you find a bridge guarded by a newly built watchtower. A knight appears, and he wants to know who you are and what your business is. The guard escorts you to a camp across the bridge. You meet a thin, tall knight in the tent. He introduces himself as Sir Percival, which leaves you speechless for a heartbeat. This man wearing the armament of the Knights of the Round Table is a living legend. He wants to know why you are here. Sir Percival looks at you curiously and smiles.
I've never been in the service of Arthur, and he never wanted me to. We just lived for the same principles, which still guide me in my life. But what do you know about our deceased king?
Sir Percival looks perplexed, then suspicious. The king is alive? He whispers, as if saying it aloud would break the charm. When you nod silently, he sits down in his chair and buries his face in his hands. After a while, Sir Percival gets to his feet, politely asks you to wait, then hurries out of the tent. The knights outside are already in their saddles. You also get on a horse and join them on the way to the northeast, and after some time you gallop to the front to Sir Percival.
I don't know. I found him in a monastery with a serious wound. He had a strange shard embedded in his body. According to the monks, he was carried there by Sir Balan, but I've been unable to find the knight since then. Maybe he perished at Hadrian's Wall after he went south. He remembers nothing about that day, but sometimes he dreams about himself charging someone with his sword, but never gets the chance to save his king. Lancelot wakes up feeling futile every day. I am afraid he is losing his mind. What happened that day? The knight nods grimly, and you keep riding without a word. When you reach the fortress at dawn, Percival leads you to Lancelot. He is a haggard, grim man with a strong presence. After polite greetings, he tells you that he would like to talk to Percival first. Lancelot tells Percival that he knows the whereabouts of Sir Balan. Sir Malagent is keeping him in captivity and wants a ransom for his release. In return, Percival tells him everything he heard from you, most importantly, that the king is alive. Sir Lancelot is even more surprised than Sir Percival was. His solemn face turns pale.
and he doesn't say anything for a while. Finally, he asks you if the king has recovered from his wound. You tell him about the king and the reason why you came north. Lancelot wants to know about the magic that brought you here. You tell him that the mad emperor of Ibaracum is dead, and the way is open to the south again. Lancelot finally inquires if the mad emperor of Ibaracum owned a magical artifact. Lancelot examines the relic, then he gives it back to you. He mumbles something under his breath.
Now I have seen the second one, he says. You must know that young Pendragon has the third shard, but the powers of that relic are cursed.
Sir Percival has experience with cursed items, and he wants to know more about the relic that young Pendragon is carrying. You tell him everything. Percival thinks that the magical defense of the monastery has imbued the shard with a spirit impression of the wizard who created the shard.
Most probably, yes. In the province of Kent, in Canterbury, they keep the book of St. Augustine that has already helped to cleanse many people and objects of curses.
You thank him for his valuable help and turn to Sir Lancelot.
I cannot return to my king until I know what happened on the day of his assassination,
says Lancelot. Then he turns to Percival.
Send an envoy to the king to assure him of my loyalty. Then get ready. We shall set Sir Balan free. The tower stands in the wilderness, out in the mountains, in a secluded valley. I'll send a guide with you, says Lancelot.
With the sentinel guide, you reach the valley in barely 2 days. The She Tower is almost in ruins, but it still stands tall. Thorns and twines cover the slabs. You soon find the hall and the mystical gate you seek, and open the gate to the north without hesitation.
My Lord Pendragon. You have quite a gathering of the lost champions behind Hadrian's Wall. Not only did I meet the fabled Lancelot, but I also had a very enlightening discussion with the wise Sir Percival. He has an interesting theory about the curse that has fallen upon your precious piece of the Grail. You must find Sir Galahad, the greatest of the Grail Knights, now the loyal bloodhound of the pious Saxons of Norfolk. Persuade him to cleanse that shard, that you may use it to seal the nether gates again. Finally, I have found a fading tower. Now I shall set off for the cold northern lands of the mysterious Queen Morgause. I shall leave my men behind, as I can only take some of my chosen warriors, but rest assured, Nimue is close, and I shall deal with her shortly.
Ready to serve.
Yes?
Ready to serve. Ready to serve. Ready to serve. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
The Sentinels' weaponsmiths are among the best in Britannia, and they breed quality war horses as well. You could use this rare opportunity to improve your heavy infantry. Long ago, the kingdom of Elmet came to realize that they required a force of...
On my way. On my way. Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord!
Yes, my lord. Yes, my liege.
Young sir, don't judge me on my long absence from court. You must be aware that I spent a long time in a haze of forgetfulness. I was only driven by sheer hatred for the crawling monsters, without any memories of how I ended up here. But now I am ready to offer you both my sword and my solemn oath that I am still the same Lancelot who fought for Britannia. And I promise you that I'll find out what happened to your father, the king, and I on that fateful night when the Grail was destroyed. First, I will find Sir Balan, who brought me here.
I believe I have proven myself worthy of my promises, son of Arthur. I have been hunting Nimue so relentlessly that I had to leave my warriors along the way. And here I am, alone in this bleak wilderness, in desperate need of allies. But sometimes the old gods are grateful. I received a messenger from the former king of the Sidhe, Oberon, who abandoned his people and came here to lord over the storms and the rain. He might be a valuable ally, so I'm going to accept his invitation.
Sir Balan used to be a knight of the Round Table, and the only one who might be able to tell you what happened before you lost your memories. Unfortunately, Sir Balan has been imprisoned by Sir Malagent, the ruler of Garloth. You set out to free Sir Balan.
The former guardians of the Grail have scattered all across Britannia to recover the missing
Yes, my king!
You and Sir Balan used to be brothers in arms as fellow knights of the Round Table. It's been a while since you fought together, but as it turns out, he might be the only one who could shed light on what happened on that fateful night in the Sanctuary of the Grail, before you lost your memories. You freed Balan from the captivity of Sir Malagant, and now you must talk to him. Sir Balan looks tired and weary from the long captivity, but he is still the same man you remember. After greeting you, he tells you that he is glad to see your recovery, but you assure him that you don't regard yourself as healed until your memories have returned. The knight is obviously surprised.
You say you cannot remember what happened? I was hoping to get an explanation for that madness. Of course, I know the events of that day, but I have no idea how it came about.
Somewhat disappointedly, you ask him again about his recollections.
I was standing guard that night at the assembly hall in Meacham when I heard the Queen screaming, so I rushed into the hall. I only know that the king wanted to sit in judgment on a traitor, and he wanted you to be a witness. He also needed the Grail because nobody is able to tell lies in its vicinity. The king did not send for the Grail. Instead, he went to the shrine where it was kept. Only the king, the queen, you, and Sir Kay were there. So I rushed inside, but I suddenly halted when I saw what was happening there. The king was lying on the floor, bleeding from a terrible wound, and you were fighting with Sir Kay. It looked like he was breathing, but I did not have time to take a closer look. There was a deep cut on his side, but I think a healer might easily have cured him. Lady Guinevere tried to protect the king with her own body, and looked up at you with beseeching eyes. You stood your ground next to the king's motionless body, and traded blows with Sir Kay ferociously, who was slowly forced to fall back towards the magical gate. I immediately drew my sword and stepped towards you, Lancelot, and demanded an explanation. But at that very moment I saw the blinding light of the Holy Grail growing stronger and stronger, and then it exploded into a magical maelstrom that filled the hall with shards. The huge maelstrom, which devoured the power of the Grail, picked me up like a straw, and I was sent spinning towards the hole opening up in the air. When I regained consciousness, I woke up to chaos all around me.
Yes, except for the king. He must have been saved by the sacrifice of the queen, but we weren't that lucky. We found ourselves facing a group of surprised but well-armed warriors. Later, I learned that it was the Red Tower of the Red Knight, far, far away from Meacham, up here in cruel Cumbria. It is hardly more than a pile of stones now. When we arrived, the Red Knight and his warriors were waiting for us. They seemed quite surprised. The Red Knight only wanted to help the king's assassin flee. Not really. The walls of the tower cracked from the lashes of the magical energy raging inside. Everybody tried to flee from the hall and tried to save themselves from the wild magic and falling stones. Sir Kay grabbed the unconscious body of the queen and ran for the door. I hurled myself after him, but I tripped over your body. You were on the ground. Your back was covered in blood. When I stood up again, Sir Kay had disappeared. So I reckon I saved you. Yes, I know, however. I thought that time that you had been injured by the falling stones or by the magical raging storm. Even if I had managed to catch Sir Kay, it would have been in vain. If I had started a fight with him, we all would have perished. I only pulled you out from the ruins, and we were scarcely able to flee from the soldiers of the Red Knight. You were seriously injured, remember? I don't have too much to say. I dragged you to a monastery, left you with the abbot, then hurried after Lady Guinevere and Sir Kay. I was on my way to Lothian when that evil Maligent took me prisoner.
Sir Balan offers you his hand.
I will gladly serve and fight at your side again, Sir Lancelot. You have one more noble knight in your army, and a venerable, hardened veteran at that.
My lord, I'm still trying to make sense of what I have heard from Sir Balan. He suggested that Sir Kay himself attacked the king on that night in the Shrine of the Grail. If it is true, I will make him pay for what he did. I'm determined to find him at all costs. The traitor is hiding in a haunted castle where the wall between the worlds is weak and time flows at an unnatural pace. But even that won't be enough to stop me. There are many strange tales about the Red Knight around here. Some say that he used to be a powerful marauder who turned into something greater, something that no one should ever crave for. There are others who think that he's nothing but a prisoner of the mysterious Red Lands. I can't vouch for the truth of either of these rumors, and honestly, I don't even care. The only thing that matters to me is that according to Sir Balan, the Red Knight has the answer to some of my questions, and believe me, I will make him tell me the truth.
You must find Sir Kay in a haunted...
On my way.
All right.
After you have arrived in the Northern Lands through the Mystical Gate, Oberon, the mysterious king of the Sidhe, invited you to his court. You decided to accept the invitation, since you know that pursuing Nimue and freeing Merlin here in the unknown lands would be impossible without help. The Sidhe warrior who passed on the invitation said that you will be guided by the soft rains and the animals of the forest. The wind blows to the west, and the wild geese of the air are heading northwest. During the day, you see many wild geese flying over your head, and they are all heading northwest. After sundown, they land in a glade on the shore of a lake. When you are ready to break camp in the morning, a strong wind starts to blow from the southeast. The boars forage for food in the undergrowth, then start to roam to the west. The road begins to slope, and the boars keep heading north. Soon you reach a valley enclosed by high hills. The boars stampede through the valley in haste. This is an ideal place for an ambush. Shortly before sundown, you meet a group of she warriors. They want to know why you came here, and when you tell them about your meeting with Oberon, they lead you to a rocky plateau. The oldest of the she waves his hands around and tells you that Oberon will hear your words in this place. When you turn back, you see a young fox to the side of the plateau. It is looking at you with wide open eyes and scratches its ear. A cold wind blows around you, and the valley below is covered with thick fog. You briefly recount the fight between Nimue and Merlin, your duel with the sorceress, and tell him that you want to set your master free. When you are done, the fox yowls, and the wind blows away the fog. You suddenly see a mortal camp. You find a Christian camp in the valley. This is interesting. You would never have thought that you'd see something like this here. There are 24 knights and a group of spearmen. The guard leads you to a white tent decorated with red crosses. An elderly knight greets you and asks you if you were sent here by the mighty Oberon.
I have had enough of these insane riddles of the pagans, the knight snorts. Oberon promised to help us against the Fomorians in the west. I am quite ready to leave this cursed forest, but he is still too cowardly to leave his warriors under our command. We are the Knights of the Order of the White Shield. We are the defenders of the Kingdom of Alba. Our founder was Saint Joseph of Arimathea, who brought the Holy Grail to Britannia. Our kingdom is surrounded by the wilderness of Oberon, and it is quite small indeed, but still we are independent. We might build a huge empire if we could penetrate westward, but we have to overcome the Fomorians there first. This is our mutual interest with Oberon. Because our numbers are few, the Kingdom of Alba is protected by the Holy Shield of Saint Joseph of Arimathea. The saint drew a cross on the shield with his own blood, so it is as powerful as the greatest relics.
The knight scratches his head.
That is true. Maybe that is why Oberon sent you here. You are neutral, and you have an insufficient number of soldiers. Only one question remains. What do you want for leading this army?
I'm hunting an unseelie sorceress who fled here from the south. Help me find a way to defeat her.
The knight ponders this for a while, then he nods. Just then, a soldier walks into the tent and reports the arrival of some Seelie warriors. Outside the tent, a she-warrior greets you. I salute you, Morgana Le Fay. I have come here with the army of Oberon. Lead them against the Fomorians and enlist the Knights of the White Shield. You tell the she-warrior to give your regards to his king. Then turn to the old knight and order him to get ready to march in the morning. Battle awaits.
Yes, my lord!
Ready to serve. Yes, my liege.
No one can match the precision of the legendary bowmen from Pengwern, apart from the she-archers. You could really use their skills in your battles.
The Kingdom of Elmet has a very effective army owing to their strict training methods. You could trust their veterans with the training of your own warriors. This would provide a steady source of reinforcements and regular advancement of your soldiers. The former Guardians of the Grail have scattered all across Britannia to recover the missing shards of the shattered Holy Grail. You might use their experience to gain a better understanding of the shards, but they are not easy to find. The Regent of Medisham would be willing to assist you, as they need their scholars just as desperately as you require the knowledge they keep. The former Guardians of the Grail have scattered all across Britannia to recover the missing shards of the shattered Holy Grail. You might use their experience. The Regent of Medisham is dedicated to maintaining the growth of his province, even in the face of constant Fomorian threats. Unfortunately, he lacks the necessary financial means. If you were to invest in his plan, your diplomatic relations would surely benefit, and you should expect a return on your investment as well. The nobles of the Sidhe normally place no value on pacts with humans, but their tenuous position in this realm and their inability to return to Tir na Nog has presented them with an exceptional situation. Certainly, the thought of attacking them in their own stronghold is a foolish notion at best, but they might appreciate an assurance of peace. As a proud Welshman, King Dafydd never liked to be a part of Arthur's kingdom, and he was among the first to declare independence when news of Arthur's condition began to spread. The Sentinel's weaponsmiths are among the best in Britannia, and they breed...
Ready to serve? Yes, my liege.
On my way. On my way.
Ready to serve?
Ready to serve.
Ready to serve.
Yes, my lord!
Yes, my liege.
Yes, my king! Yes, my king!
Ready to serve.
My lord, we need your help. The land between Hadrian's Wall and the Antonine Wall is huge territory, currently divided between 3 picked tribes. They once served the Witch Queen of Orkney, but our spies report that they have now severed all ties with their monarch. They are free to satisfy their need for destruction and bloodshed, and who knows what they will do without firm leadership. The Sentinels cannot deal with them alone.
The Picts roaming beyond Hadrian's Wall. The Picts roaming beyond Hadrian's.
Yes, my liege. On my way.
The shard of the shattered grail has lost its powers since it bears the impression of a soul, namely one of Merlin's apprentices. This impression is like a curse, and it can only be removed in the Cathedral of Canterbury. Following the advice of Sir Percival, you try to find Sir Galahad, who can help you to get into the heavily guarded Christian territories of the Saxons.
Yes, my lord. Ready to serve. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Yes, my king!
magic shield is fading. Your spell was absorbed. The enemy started to capture one of your locations. Your spell was absorbed. Enemy units have captured a location. Weather conditions changed. Your magic shield is under normal strength. Weather conditions changed. Your magic shield is fading. Your men are going to die. Your unit is going to die. Your unit is going to die. Your soldiers are going to die. Your hero is in grave danger. Your unit is going to die. Your magic shield is fading. Your unit is going to die. Unit is going to die. Your men are going to die. A spell has been cast. spell has been cast. Your magic shield is fading. Victory is near. Your soldiers are going to die. Your men are going to die. Your soldiers are going to die.
By the gods of the ancients, how I hate this desolate wilderness! There is nothing here but mountains that breathe cold mists, and savages who are ready to rip out each other's throats for a small plot of land. Still, I could use their help against the Picts, who are guarding that unseelie Nimue. Lord Oberon granted me audience with the giants of the north, who need my help to destroy a nethergate. Although I have only a shred of confidence that this meeting could even be vaguely helpful, I will attend.
After the Fomorians have been eradicated from the Highlands, a messenger from Lord Oberon informs you that they have found Nimue. She bewitched a strong Pict tribe to the northeast, so you'll need more allies to confront her. He suggests you turn to the other Pict tribes and the giants who live nearby. There is a Fomorian nest forming in their domain. Perhaps you could use that to gain their trust.